Oh, that's really heavy. Now what do I do with it? You never figured out what you're gonna do with it. Oh. Somehow I have like 30 minutes to myself. Just don't tell anybody, because we got stuff to do. This is what I have been wanting to get after for I don't know how many years now. That. So what do we have here? This is my 1962 Mercury Comet. Nothing special about it. It's an inline six. I got 170, I think it was. The guy I got the car from, I think, didn't prime the doors when he put them on, and I think it was black underneath, and just, or else he used a black or a dark primer. I don't know. The doors are darker, and that annoys the bejeebas out of me. But yeah, this is my 62. I got it. It was an undone project. None of the chrome was on it. The front end wasn't on it. Trunk wasn't on it. Interior wasn't in it. The guy just got done spraying, painting the doors in the back, and that was it. So I had to go through. I actually blocked out and sanded and sprayed the trunk lid, the whole entire front end, a bunch of the interior stuff. This is all, these are actually, I believe, Mustang front bucket seats that are in here. It does have the S22, you can't see it, there's an embroidery in the back, but it does have the S22 rear seat stuff in it. Everything is super nice in this car. Headliner is perfect. That's, I think, everything in this car inside, interior wise, I got it from the previous owner. I think everything was new. Even these seat covers, like you can see, this isn't finished off. I'm having problems. I have the backing boards for this, but I'm having problems getting clips that can reach far enough. Like I bought clips a couple of times now for Mustang and Comet and different vehicles, and they're too short. They don't, you put them in the board that goes on the back here, and they don't, I don't know where those holes are now, but there's like a hole in all four corners, and they don't snap in, they don't reach. But yeah, I don't know. There's the dash. Odometer doesn't work, so I don't know how many miles are on it, but yeah, super nice car. I been going through the bottom. It does have a little bit of rust, not terrible actually. The only real rot, I think, is the inners on the back quarters there. The quarters, I think, were replaced, or at least the bottom was skinned in. But I've had plans for this car like forever, so I already started work. I just got done doing, maybe we'll see it on the lift, I just got done doing floors in this car, well, 3 years ago now, 4 years ago maybe. And I did subframe connectors and cross member, everything built into the floor itself. I was trying to do this car in 3 sections. The middle was first, mainly because of, oh my gosh, the trans tunnel in this car from whoever down the line was built out of like fiberglass and plywood and cardboard and nothing. There wasn't a weld anywhere either. It was either glued or just thrown in there, or paint was holding it together. You'd be going around corners and it would be just popping and you'd creaking, all kinds of noises out of the floor. So yeah, I was worried about that. I wanted to get that done, so that was the first thing I did. Whole new trans tunnel I built in there. Floors, I think I replaced both sides on the floor too since I was in there, and yeah, I just wanted nice full floors across. So that was first stage, is middle section. Second stage, I was in between front and rear. The rear works, so I want to get the front done. And what I am planning on doing with this car is yanking out this i6. Actually, this was supposed to be a 200. This i6. This motor and transmission is out of a Mustang that I have. I have a 68 Mustang that this motor and trans was in that hasn't ran in I don't know how many years, and while the motor that was in this car when I got it was done. So I pulled that motor and transmission, C4 I believe it is, out of my 68 Mustang and dumped it in here after doing just a really quick freshen up. I did a couple of gaskets, a water pump, and I just resealed the transmission. I didn't put bands in it, I didn't put drums, I didn't do nothing in the transmission. I just put seals in it because it was leaking everywhere. The main, front main, that thing on the side, and the rear, it was just leaking, so I put seals in. My plan is to pop this back out, and actually I want to put this back in my Mustang so I'm able to drive that too. Get me excited about maybe doing some videos and start restoring that and doing stuff. But anyhow, getting off track. Popping this motor out, I got to blow apart this whole front end. Hood, fenders, grill, bumper, just right back down to nothing. I have a pretty crude Mustang II front end to go in here. So I got to cut out these shock towers. Those are coming out. I'm on the fence if I want to do a whole sheet on these fender wells or not. Maybe, or I just do a patch in the middle. I don't know, I think that looks kind of funny when it's just a patch in the middle instead of like a whole just flat, look like it's always been there, factory look inner fender well. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to them until I start looking at them maybe. Blow apart this front end, get these towers cut out, Mustang II front end to go in here, and I have a old 351W sitting on the engine stand that was in one of our work trucks. I think it was a 95, that truck. Our family got it brand new right off the lot. It was a complete stripped down WT Ford truck, and we used it for work all the way up. It's got like 300,000 miles on it. The body, the frame, everything rotted apart on that truck. But that motor, the day I put it in the field and shut it off because the frame was just gone on the truck, ran just like the day I remember we picked that truck up at the dealership. Not a single ping, knock, doesn't blow smoke, it started right up. It was absolute perfect motor its an entire life, and well, we maintain our vehicles pretty well. So I got a C6 right down there. I might just throw it in for now, just so we can, that's kind of my plan here. It's warm out today. It's like 60 some. That's weird for February, and we don't get that. And you Wisconsin guys know we've been having some really weird weather. And it's like out here in a t-shirt one day, the next day foot of snow they're calling for. It's enough talking, just get to work. People want to see stuff done, not your mouth. Ooh, wires all over. You're gonna trip over everything. Oh yeah, mark stuff before you take it off, so then at least I got a chance to line it all back up again. How am I supposed to do this by myself? Oh, that's really heavy. Now what do I do with it? You never figured out what you're gonna do with it. Ooh, dicey. How do you even get to those bolts? Everyone, I guess, just went way overboard with the bolts years ago. There's like this grill that does nothing. Let's put 1,400 bolts in it. 1,400 bolts and a couple of screws on a grill, but passenger compartment, that'll fold in like a tin can when you get in an accident. You just got to pretend that the socket is an extension to your arm. And you visualize the top of the bolt. I can see the top here. You just visualize it. Like 11,000 bolts in there. My brother got me the awfully nice of them. Thanks. That was a cold start. Choke all the way out. It does have an exhaust leak. That's what that ticking is that you hear. Oh crap, here comes the neighbor. Don't hit the post. Oh, should I take the sandbags out of the back of the car? Maybe. Andy, why do you have sandbags in your trunk? Well, to lower it in the back. What do you think? Oh yeah, that's weight. Where do I put? They're only 50 pounds. Why are they so heavy? 200 pounds of sand in the trunk. I think that brought it down like 1.5 or 2 inches in the back. It was a nice look. Oh, there's still rubber on this one too. We'll leave that on there so we know when we're putting it back on. Probably not. It's just gonna be metal in there. Let's get you guys in here so you see stuff maybe. All right, you can see back in here. I mean, she's got some surface, but yeah, it's not too badly rotted or anything back there at all. Tiny. This is like I had to replace the gears in here when I first got it going because the water sat on the bottom and the gears got pitted and well, stuff happened. But this ring pinion or ring gear in here is like 6 inches. You can see my hand takes up that whole thing. It's tiny. That is the smallest rear end. So yeah, definitely gonna have to take it easy on that unit when we get that motor in until we're able to get back here. But yeah, moving forward. In here you can start seeing like these floors are really nice on the outside. You can see I did a couple of patches built in around a couple of these spots. That's all perfect metal there. Up in here you can see, oh yeah, so you can see that subframe connector built into the floor. And then tranny cross member. This is, well, right at the bottom of the floor, but basically built into the floor, and it actually goes over the transmission and then over, and there's exhaust cut outside built into it on each side, and it ties into the other subframe connector, and you can see all the new floor up there. That's all brand new. Yeah, subframe, I got those subframe connectors come forward in, and I tied them into the bottom of the front subframe here. My plan is, well, I'm gonna look at this subframe. It actually looks in pretty nice condition, so maybe I will just like plate it probably in most of the way all the way up to where the Mustang II front suspension gets welded onto this frame here. So yeah, we're gonna tie that in real good, get that all set up, and get that V8 in here. You see there's no cross member at all right now. This was kind of strange to me. That I guess I used like the motor for the cross member or something. So definitely an easy one to strip down and get ready for that Mustang II front end. This actually might go a little bit quicker than I'm thinking it would take. So okay, I gotta blow everything apart. What did that say? Oh, it says old boy. Oh boy. So back to this tranny cross member. So now the cross member goes over the top of the tranny. So when you quickly want to drop the trans or motor out of the car, you just bang these bolts out and you're able to drop her out. You lose the safety feature of if the bolts come loose, the trans cross member is underneath the trans and catches it. But how often, I mean, when was the last time you had bolts come out and tranny mount? I've never, ever. Good solid center chunk. Now let's get this Let's get after this Mustang II front end. Hey. I believe everything is, yeah, ball joints, and most of the stuff is new in this front end. So I guess if someone out there wants a factory Comet 6-cylinder front end, well, hit me up. I'll even include the lug nuts. There's a sway bar in this car. I mean, that's kind of shocking. Oh, I looked right down at the light. I'm blind. Yeah, I never disconnected the battery in this car yet. Oh man, it's the next day. What a difference a day makes. Come over, show you guys this. Yesterday I was in a t-shirt. Today it's 10 degrees and snow. That's Wisconsin for you. Yeah, you can see it's a little smoky in here. I got the furnace going because it's cold. They got a saying in Wisconsin, if you don't like the weather, just wait around 5 minutes. It'll change. And sure enough, it was 70 degrees, I think they said. Yes, actually, it broke a record somewhere. The place with the racetrack, US Air, Shawano, was 75, I think, yesterday, which was broke the records. And then now, yeah, today 10. I think last night, I think we actually had like sub-zero, 6 below wind chill factor. So that's fun. 1400 bolts in the battery tray tool. Just no shortage of bolts years ago. 1962. I wonder, like, when they're designing the parts, they come up to the part of, okay, well, now we gotta attach this part to the car. How many bolts should we put in it? Main guy stands up and he says, all of them. This side just unplugs out of the firewall with like a boat trailer plug. And I think that's factory too. Engine wire harness. Got 2 turns in. What do you need? They say like 3 threads. That's good enough. Gantry train would be pretty cool for stuff like this. You just remote in one hand and do whatever. Just bzz, bzz, swing it around. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, what do we got? What's going on? Dipstick tube rubbing on the firewall. There's the other side. Is it leaking? That's barely dripping all over the floor. Dripping all over the floor? Yep, probably. What's going on back there? What are you doing? Why are you hanging up on everything? Holy jumped them cripe, what was that? That was weird. I don't know what that was. We'll just pretend like, oh, there's a throttle cable yet. No, a choke, I mean. Dang it. Something else hanging up? Oh, it's pouring training fluid. That should be good enough, right? Carefully now. Here's that transmission cross member, the mount that goes to, well, this is temporary. That's why it's crude, because I knew this transmission wasn't going to stay in there. You see how much further back it is? This is measured to be closer, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how he did it. It should be closer to where the C6 mount is going to be. We're going to build a whole new mount for that other motor. Well, we'll just knock everything down. We got to sweep up and stuff anyhow. There is like 357 shims on this side. Whole handful of shims. One side. What's on this side? 2 shims. Motor mount. Multi-mount. I should explain, we're not going for like a super fancy anything here. This is a slippery slope for me. When you start getting into stuff, you're like, while you're here, might as well do this, and while you're here, might as well go ahead and replace that, and while you're here, you know, and then all of a sudden the whole car's cut apart and you ain't got nothing. I'm gonna do this right. I don't want to cut any corners, but I also don't want to spend the next 8 years working on it. in between the lines of cheap, sketchy, I wouldn't have done it that way, between that and like Barrett Jackson auction kind of stuff. So we're just looking for decent here. So I guess before we get into hacking and cutting and whatnot, we should probably get the parts up here and see what we're actually supposed to do, because I don't know what to do. I'm just winging this. We're just taking her as she comes here. Do I have to unbolt and pull the column out of the steering box? There's like no, I don't see any joint. Like it's steering box right up, or steering rack, that outside housing right up to this, right to the steering box. I don't know, I don't understand. How do you get that out? I suppose you have to pull the steering column, because we do got to get that out. Oh, I just touched something really slimy. Gearbox wiggles, or I mean steering column wiggles. It acts like it's stuck in the gearbox. How do you get the steering out of the gearbox? Well, for frog snacks, see, nothing can be easy. Steering wheel, I don't know, but she's going, something's happening, something's turning. Steering wheel is off. Just gonna pull on it, I guess. Who designs this stuff? Well, that was easy. Like, actually, I don't think I've ever been in here. I never had a problem with the brakes. There's brake juice in there. Oh, it looks nice in there. She's a single holer. Oh no, antifreeze everywhere. Oh my gosh. Oh, I always gotta be like that. Oh, dang it. Freaking hate messes on the floor. This ain't no pole barn garage episode here. Why am I even unscrewing this? I should be just cutting these. What am I doing? Now we can finally read some instructions and start cutting, right? Now we are at that point where I can start cutting. I got all my measurements of everything, stuff I want to know, and hopefully there's some kinds of instructions in this box of Chinese parts. I don't know, we're gonna find out. So yeah, I guess we'll bring in our pallet of parts and see what we gotta cut out. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Keep going. Oh. Actually, yeah, it wasn't bad. This thing is from like 1943. She's a good little contraption. It's a three-wheeler. I forgot to bring a table. We need a table to lay all the parts out on. This table is full of parts. We need another table to fill with parts. All right, we had to throw the fender back on, and a couple of extra measurements here I forgot about. His ride height. I think we're gonna go for something like that. So a couple other measurements I needed to get is frame wheel height at the spindle at ride height, and then centered in the wheel well. I just want to make sure we are actually centered. I don't know if I'm gonna pull those forward just a little bit or not. I gotta write some stuff down and some thinking to do here, and then we'll get on with stuff. Now that I got all the measurements I need, up, down, side, front, back, up, crooked, side, plumb, square, straight, all of the measurements, we can get the hacking away now. Hack away. I was curious here. We took we took out a lot of weight in this front end. I wanted to see. Oh yeah. Yep. It's getting light in the front end. Can I move these rear arms back on the lift? Not really. They're already on the springs. I had all kinds of ideas about these. Taking these shock towers out, what to replace them with. They make those panels all different kinds of shapes and styles. Some have lines in them, different ways. Some have like designs in the whole thing. It always just looks like a panel like stuck in there though. I always wanted, and this might not be the car for it yet. I got that, and I was talking about that Mustang. That would be the car that I would go more full tilt on, and what I had ideas of is replacing that whole panel on both sides, and it's just one design all the way through. It doesn't look like it's been patched. Here, you got to keep that in mind. Don't go down that rabbit hole. I might just do the patch. I don't have any, so like I would have to make something. I never actually done. I got a bead roller. I never actually done bead rolling on a panel, so maybe this would be a good place to try that. We gotta get all this junk out of here. Let's cut her out. Or do I drill these spot welds? There's only like 40 bajillion of them. I know this is gonna be long. This is gonna run into multiple videos, I think, on this car to get this back on the road. My memory cards are actually both full, so that usually tells me there is enough there to make a video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like and that subscribe, and maybe, what is that bell down there people talk about. And I guess if you want to see the rest of this car, where it's going, what we're doing, I'm excited. Summer is right around the corner, and it would be nice to get this up and running and back on the road. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like it, come back and see.